What event are you guys racing in?
Under 19.
Okay. How stoked are you to be here on Lygon Street today?
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, can't wait for it. It's going to be good.
Ever done anything like this before?
Yeah, a few years worth of it.
So what are you going to do after the racing? You're going to hang around, see if you can do some star watching?
Not really, I'll probably just go get something to eat. That's the game plan, race and eat.
Who's your hero?
Oh, probably Evans. There aren't many other riders like him who we can sort of aspire to. But, yeah.
And how do you think you're going to go today?
I don't know, just do my best. Can't ask for much more.
That's all you can do. Have a great race. Good luck, guys.
Today, yes, they're A grades at quite the top division, and for 16-year-olds, they're doing pretty well to be in this division. Clement, tell us about how you think you're going to race today in these conditions.
Well, it's wet, but it's the same for everyone. The course is a T, so there's 3 hairpins, which means I got to stay up the front most of the race. It's a long run into the finish, so I reckon I'll leave it late for the sprint. Yeah.
Okay. So leave it late for the sprint, and so we're going to work together, Munro?
We'll try to do it as best we can. If there's a break up the road, we'll try to bridge it together or something. We'll get one of us in the breaks, help each other out, and just get in the sprint. Hopefully we can get a place or two, get one or two.
And you're 16 at the moment. You've got the Ford team gear on. I must say it looks quite snazzy. Obviously you want to keep going on to the higher ranks, so tell me, Munro, what's your plans in the next few years, and where would you like to be with your racing?
Well, hopefully next year I can make the Junior Worlds team for the World Championships, go race that, land the Victorian Institute of Sport or even Australian Institute of Sport, go from there, get them into a pro team or something, race Tour de France and that later in the future, hopefully.
Oh, wow, Tour de France. What do you think, Clement?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same for me, but I like to spend next year doing most of the NRS races, give me time off school and just ride.
Yeah. So, and how do you guys work together? Are you supportive of each other, or is there the competitiveness, or do you have any fights out there on the road and off the road? How does that all work?
Following my brother always helps. It's good to have a friendly wheel to sit behind. I know how he rides, and that saves myself.
Yeah.
It's good in the end. If I've got the legs, he'll lead me out, or if he's got the legs, he'll lead me out. And it's a good chance to get across to the breakaway by ourselves, and yeah.
And Munro, who's the oldest?
Me, 2 minutes.
2 minutes. So do you say that you're the oldest?
Oh, not really. I just say we're twins, basically.
Yeah.
I got to beat him because I'm older, but that's about it.
Do you think your personalities are the same?
Oh, pretty close. I think he's a bit stronger on the bike, but I'm a bit better up the climb since I'm a bit lighter. So I think today's his race.
Okay. And you both ride with Carnegie Caulfield. Have you been riding for a long period of time?
With Carnegie?
Yes.
Yeah, been racing with them since we were about 7 on the track and stuff. They have a great program with the junior development program. Coaches, world champions, Australian champions, all that, state champions. Racing every weekend, twice a week, summer and winter. So it's a great program to get into. We've got a lot of really strong up and comers. So it's a great way to get out there and ride racing.
What do you like the most?
Definitely the crits. The atmosphere is really good around there. Everyone's friendly. Get a good hard race in, then everyone chats. You go for a ride after, all that. It's really fun.
Yeah. And Clement, do the females race with the males as well in the junior categories? Or do you all train together and get along well?
There's always men's and women's races, but the women race with us in the club races and stuff. But I don't really train with the women much, but people do. Yeah.
Not into girls yet.
No.
Well, guys, thanks for chatting with us today. We look forward to seeing more of you in the future and watching you out there racing.
Thanks. You're welcome.
Give me an insight to how you started, so how you first got involved in cycling, what age, and how did it happen?
I started when I was 12 years old, and basically it was through the school program. I got a free pass from the school. We went down, we had a Year 7 camp to go to, and there's going to be mountain biking, so they had to know that every kid could ride. So we went down to the velodrome and did some mountain biking. Also, we got to try the velodrome. At the end of the camp of doing the sessions and that, they gave out free passes to try the track again. And I brought that home and showed Dad, and Dad used to be a cyclist back in his day. So he saw the pass and he goes, oh, we'll go use the free pass down the track, and took my brother down as well, Trav, and went down and tried the track and loved it, and went back the next week, and it all sort of kicked off from there. And so I was 12 years old. It was quite young to start, but haven't looked back since.
And the school, what school was that?
St Bridget's Primary School in Middle Swan in Perth.
Oh, really? So it was a school that actually put that all together and the program?
Yeah.
Okay.
They had all their camps and that, and we about 3 kilometres from the velodrome.
Right.
So they had a good touch with the velodrome and just running different little programs down there to get guys into cycling. And because we had a camp coming up, we went down there and used their mountain bikes, and that's where they gave out the free passes afterwards.
Okay. Do you remember your first race?
I can't remember an exact first race, but
some of your first races.
Yeah, I remember some of them. I remember some state championships on the track. When I was 13, I did my first state title, and I didn't win any medals that year, but I know my brother did, and I was very jealous of him because he was in the younger age group and he won golds and silvers, but I was in a little bit older age group and I couldn't get a medal. But when I was 14, one of my first trips out of WA was to the national championships, junior nationals in Alice Springs was my first ever nationals.
Alice Springs of all places,
on an outdoor track under lights at night time, so that was really exciting to be my first trip out of Perth, so that was exciting in itself, getting on an aeroplane for the first time. But going to Alice Springs was my first ever trip away. And
what was that like, with the team and on your first trip away, being young as well? Do you remember how that felt? Yeah,
it felt really exciting. Just little simple things like having a team shirt and being part of a WA representation and representing something a little bit bigger than maybe your club teams back in Perth. So also going into the velodrome and seeing Tasmanian outfits and Tasmanian guys and all the different states around Australia, and it was very exciting times.
Were you nervous as well?
Yeah, definitely very nervous. It was my first time riding an outdoor velodrome as well.
Right.
And also, just a little bit of that extra pressure, and it was my first step of feeling that extra pressure. So that was nervous times.
Do you remember what the velodrome was like? Was it was it old? Was there stones on it and things like that, or was it actually quite a good?
No, it was quite a good velodrome actually. It was well maintained, and it was obviously in good condition because it was the national championships there. I still remember talking to Travis, and we say that was one of our favourite velodromes.
Really?
And I reckon it was all because of the experience of being that first trip away, being that first national championships, and it sticks in our minds. So the velodrome we actually really enjoyed.
And what results did you get then?
I didn't win a medal, but I was 4th. I went really close in the scratch race. I remember it. We had the favourite, Scott Sunderland, who was also from Perth, and he'd won like 5 gold medals at that nationals, and we went into the scratch race, and my job was to get on Scott Sunderland because he was the fastest guy there, and he went with a lap and a half to go, and I didn't quite get on him, and I got overtaken in the last finish straight and lost the silver and bronze medal. And but I was still very happy with my ride, getting 4th, and it was really exciting.
You just talked about Scott Sunderland, and everyone knows him in the cycling ranks for being around forever. And was he did he inspire you? And also, did the guys also help you out a little bit? The older guys? Yeah,
we had good role models back then. Obviously, watching the Tour de France's and that, and Australia was sort of probably just starting to really click when I was a junior, and you had the Robbie McEwens and the Stuart O'Grady's and all those sort of guys hitting their prime, and just putting their names out there on the world stage. And Australia was always a country that was good in cycling, but we never had a broad depth in the international scene. I mean, you had the Phil Andersons and those sort of riders, but then in that era you had the O'Grady's, the Mike Rogers, the Robbie McEwens, they all come into the world scene, and that's when Australia really kicked it off. So it was good for me to be a junior, and then be in that time where I could turn on the TV, and Australia was actually starting to produce good results.
So would you say that those guys are pretty much, you're really inspired by them? Was there one particular person that really you really looked up to and went, I want to be like that?
Yeah, there was probably 2 guys. There was One from the track, because I liked the track and the road, and I did both. So on the track, a real memory that sticks in my mind is when Stuart O'Grady and Graham Brown won the Olympic Madison in 2004 in Athens.
Yeah.
And Stewie coming from the Tour de France and jumping straight on the track, and the Madison was so exciting for a junior to do hand slings, and you always wanted to muck around. That when they come out and won that Madison, that was really inspiring. O'Grady was just phenomenal that day, and I remember taping it in the old tapes on the TV, and we taped it, and I've watched it maybe 100 times since then. And he was a real role model then, because he could ride the road and ride the track. And there was also Michael Rogers, who was winning his 3 time trial world titles at the same time I was a junior, and so he was really inspiring on the road, and he had ridden the track when he was a junior as well. So those sort of guys, those Australian role models that rode the track and the road, were really inspiring to me, because that's what I was doing at the time.
Okay, so that really helped you to say, right, well, I can actually do both, pretty much, initially anyway, in your career. Now you're doing it obviously a lot more road,
definitely did. They were winning stages in the Tour de France, and you could turn on the TV and watch them there, and then you could turn on to the Olympic Games, and you'd see Stuart O'Grady on there as well, winning gold medals. So for me, it sort of said that you can win gold medals on the track, and you can also get results on the road. And I think that's why I kept doing both. In the summer, I'd get back on the track, and on the road, I'd be at all the road racing events. So
So from Alice Springs, can just give us a quick snapshot of your journey to now, if you can.
From Alice Springs, I went through the juniors. I attended all the national track titles and all the national road titles, and I got medals nearly every year, except I did get a medal every year after that Alice Springs. So it was good to get medals at all the nationals, and that kept me really hungry in the sport to want to achieve more, kept me excited all the time, that looking forward to that next trip over to the Gold Coast or something to compete. I then went to the Junior Worlds in both 2005 and 2006 to Austria and Belgium.
So that would have been your first time overseas?
First time overseas, yes.
Yeah.
So first time was I actually went to Italy for 2 weeks beforehand to do a couple of road races, because I made the road team and the track team. And then I had the World Championships in Austria, both on the track and the road, in that first year, and that was my first trip to Europe.
So tell us about that. How did you go? The Worlds, you're on the world stage, on the track and the road. So how did you transition from doing the track to the road, and obviously physically, but also mentally, to get your mindset going, transitioning across from the two? Well, it's similar discipline, but the two different environments.
Yeah, I guess. Now it's a lot harder in the senior ranks to be able to do that, but back then I didn't think of it as much. So I don't think mentally it was as testing back there, because you just went as hard as you could. You were a junior, you didn't know as much. So I don't think mentally it was that hard. I think physically maybe I might have struggled a little bit more on the road, because I did the track so much leading into the Junior World Championships, and then I just rode the road events after the Track World Championships. So maybe I struggled just a little bit there in the time trial. Run 7th in my first year and 5th in my second year, but I was going in as one of the favourites, but I didn't quite get on the podium both those years, because I did the Track World Championships only a week before. But it was good to be a part of both teams. I got to meet 2 different teams. I was the only one in both years to do both. So it was exciting to be a part of both, and also race in Italy on the road, and also then jump on the velodrome in